Hi everyone and what's up? My name is Maria Athena and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be in English for what feels like the first time in forever, which is odd because English is my native language and I know that some of you language learners out there actually understand English a little bit better than German, so hats off to making content that is easily understood. I do plan to make more videos in English, French, Dutch, and other languages as time progresses because it's not only good practice for me, but it's also great practice for you. Before I get into today's topic, which I'm super psyched about by the way because it allows me to showcase some of my interesting cockamamie ideas that I have about language learning, I would like to talk a little bit about our sponsor, italki. italki is an awesome resource for foreign language learners, especially for learners like me whose most convenient time to learn is between the hours of midnight and 3 a.m. You not only get to meet people from all around the globe, but you also get to learn about other people's cultures and make new friends and find out about how your target languages are actually spoken in the areas where they're prevalent. You can also sign up for tutoring in, drumroll please, more than 70 languages, which is awesome. And if you click the link to my promotional page down in the description box, you can actually sign up for one lesson and get another lesson completely free. So if you're interested in checking out italki's tutoring services that they offer, I would definitely recommend going through my link because you get 2 lessons for the price of 1. It's double the practice, double the lessons. I hope to see you guys on there. Come and find my profile and we can chat with each other in some of our target languages. So a while back I took a psycholinguistics course at uni in Germany and just one of the topics that we covered was how children acquire their native languages. Now many of you will already know that children acquire their native languages naturally without being formally taught them. Let's take a moment to be envious. All those kids just learning languages. Why can't that be us? Okay, now I'm over it. Now, why there are competing theories as to why this is, there is, generally speaking, a consensus as to the typical pattern that children exhibit in their development of languages, namely babbling, one-word utterances, two-word utterances, multi-word utterances, and developed sentences. For more detailed information on these stages, go to the Age and Language Learning link that I've posted down in the description box. It'll take you to a list of German, English, Dutch, and French resources that I compiled on that topic, as well as other topics that involve age and language learning, as for instance the critical period hypothesis and the pros and cons of learning languages as an adult, all of which we'll kind of gloss over as this video progresses. I think it would take a Linguistics 101 course to fully tackle all of those topics, which is why I just decided to compile a list of sources for you guys to check out for yourselves rather than waste 3 hours going into depth on all the background information that's needed to understand the point of this 3 to 7 minute video. But basically I applied my understanding of these stages of child language development to my own foreign language learning and to the language learning methods of other adult learners and came to the conclusion that adult language learners skip out on one of the most essential aspects of language acquisition and native speaker-like proficiency, babbling. And it's to their detriment. Part of what makes babbling so important is that this is when children first become accustomed to the rhythm and pronunciation of their native languages. To quote Steinberg and Schiarini's An Introduction to Psycholinguistics, the sounds that infants make involve many but not all of the speech sounds that occur in the languages of the world. But from as early as 6 months of age, infants from different language communities begin to babble somewhat distinctively, using some of the intonation of the language to which they have been exposed. I feel like adult foreign language learners make becoming proficient in a foreign language out to be this insanely hard thing when humans are literally programmed to learn languages. Read Steven Pinker. Listen to a podcast on how speech development just might have separated Homo sapiens from other hominids, and you may come to the conclusion that adult foreign language learners are psyching themselves out and holding themselves back by operating under the pretenses that they'll never sound like a native speaker, whatever that's supposed to mean, or that they'll never achieve native speaker-like proficiency. I remember reading this one illusion-breaking line in my AP Bio textbook in high school just about the same time that I was teaching myself German and learning French and Spanish at school that said that humans on average can produce several hundred sounds. I can't recall the exact number, although I'm pretty sure it was over 200, but that a large chunk of these sounds often go unuttered as one ages and becomes more rooted in their native language. And after that, I was so incredibly positive about attaining native speaker-like pronunciation in a language because even though it generally gets harder to do as you age for a whole plethora of reasons, it's still way more attainable than I think a lot of people often assume it to be. So I always made sure to focus on my pronunciation of a new language first before I would even get to start learning it. And I realized as I was sitting there studying psycholinguistics that a lot of the practices that I did to improve my pronunciation and to get a natural sounding rhythm to the languages that I was learning could kind of be considered the adult language learner's version of the babbling stage that children go through. So I thought that I would share some of the babbling exercises that I do, which have greatly contributed to my fluent speech in various languages. Some of them are language specific, but in general I have a multilingual babbling process that I practice for languages that I'm learning and that I want to learn, or for languages that just have different sounds than the ones that I'm used to making and that I would love to be able to reproduce in the future. I spit out the intake that I put in. That's to say that I'll watch a TV show in a language that I can understand, and I'll simply imitate it the entire time that I'm watching it. So basically it's translating how well you heard something into how well and accurately you can actually imitate that. And I'll do this most often without subtitles because that forces me to actually listen and analyze the language that I'm trying to imitate. I'll also sing along to songs in languages that I don't actually speak, and I'll do that without actually looking at the lyrics and then see later on how close I was to the original thing. This is something that I've always done with Greek because I'm a big fan of Greek music, but when I was a kid I could never find accurate Greek lyrics online, so I would just listen to the song, sing along, learn it syllable by syllable, and then actually write out the phonetics for the song so that I would have my own lyrics version in phonetics of what I was hoping was the correct pronunciation. And that's something that I still do, and it's a lot of fun. Going off of that last one, I do have a multilingual playlist that I listen to every single day and that I also sing along to every day. And usually after I've gone through the list maybe once or twice, I'll pick just one language in specific and practice singing songs in that language without the lyrics. And apart from that, I do spend a lot of time just listening to random clips in various languages that I don't speak, simply to be able to hear the rhythm of that language so that I can differentiate it from other languages later on when I'm, for instance, walking on the street and I hear a whole bunch of people that are speaking different languages. I'll also go through the pronunciation charts for the new languages that I'm learning multiple times, in addition to practicing reading aloud from a very early point in my learning. And this one is really fun. I will also practice speaking fake languages, so to say. There was a video that went viral a while back that was called How English Sounds to Non-English Speakers. Link in the description box. And after that I watched a bunch of videos of people speaking fake languages, either as a language exercise or just for fun. So basically what you try to do with that is spontaneously combine phrases and words that you might have already heard in a language with phonemes that are most likely to be said in that language, and on top of that you try and say it in a way that recreates the rhythm of the language as you've heard it spoken by native speakers, as I'll do with Greek. Doesn't mean anything. So those are some of the main things that I do to practice babbling in foreign languages in a way that I think mimics the babbling stage that children go through. I think it would really help adult foreign language learners to deconstruct some of the mental barriers that they've put in place as to why they will never become proficient or fluent in a foreign language, and help their overall fluency and command of another language if they simply try and take a step back and get back to their roots as much as is possible by recreating that natural process by which they learn their first language. So there's a thought. I'm curious as to your thoughts on this idea and whether you've made any connections between how children learn languages and how adults do or don't learn languages themselves. I'm Athena and this has been Learning to Babble. You can sign up for German or English tutoring with me at xxmariaathenaxx@gmail.com or support me on Patreon or PayPal so that I in return can produce more content for you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye!